Yeah, could you give me a turkey burger on the way home? I'm starving. Thank you. What is that?
Alright, there you go, babe. Just like you ordered.
No, I said I wanted a turkey burger.
Oh. Alright, today we're going to put a 4L60E into our 1984 Chevy C10 swap. We're going to use it, putting this thing in as a way to answer a few questions that we've been asked about driveshafts, cross members, a few other little things, okay? This 4L60E, we just finished rebuilding it a while ago. It still has a sticker on it. It came out of a 2005 Suburban. It was a four-wheel drive. We turned it into a two-wheel drive by putting a longer two-wheel drive tail shaft in it, and then just a different tail housing, okay? So, not a problem to turn a 4x4 into a two-wheel drive, all right?
Yep.
4L60, 4-speed transmission, L, longitudinal, it's long,
yeah.
right? And then the 60, it's capable of handling 360 foot-pounds of torque is what it's rated for, okay?
Cool.
So I believe that's where the 60 comes in.
Fun fact.
Yeah, it's a fun fact. So this thing, when it came to us, it didn't have third and fourth gear, which is something that happens to a lot of them. The bonded pistons in it had failed, and the clutch had burned up in it, third and fourth clutch. So it was pretty nasty inside. This transmission, there wasn't anything that we didn't tear apart in it and have to clean it out. It had that much clutch material in it. So, so we did that, and then we went and bought a remanufactured torque converter.
Turkey burger?
Torque converter. Picked that up at O'Reilly's, and it's ready to go in the truck, okay?
Sweet.
So let's put it in.
All right.
All right, so cross members, okay? This is the stock cross member that came off this truck. You can go spend a bunch of money on a fancy adjustable one or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never bought one. I've never needed one. This cross member works perfectly fine. I'll take, with the way that we did the engine, if you watched that video, which you probably should have.
I'll put a link in the description for you.
Okay. It is going to have a stock Chevy truck motor mount on the back of this transmission and bolt to that engine, and it is going to sit in there perfectly.
Yes.
No adjustment, no nothing.
Yep.
With using this thing. So that's why I love that thing. It does have to get moved back a little bit, but it's just a matter of drilling some holes, and it's no big deal, you know?
Yeah. You
have to drill holes for the other ones that you buy too, so. But when I come in, before I take the mount off, I mark where it's at, okay?
Okay.
And the reason I mark where it's at now is because we're going to move it back, and then I'm going to use these lines to measure to make sure my cross member is sitting straight, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we won't need the cross member now for a little bit until we get the transmission up, right?
Yeah.
So we'll set it off to the side. All right, so like I said, we just put this engine in. We did a video on that. I got the back of the engine held in here with a tie strap, all right?
Okay.
That's just holding it from flopping backwards, you know. Take a peek at that, okay? It's an 1.5 inches or like 1 3/4 inches clearance between the right side cylinder head and the firewall lip right there, okay?
Yep.
So that's what we talked about before. Setting the engine back, as far as what we do, I don't have to trim the frame here at all to use the stock exhaust manifolds, and nothing has to be done on the left-hand side either, okay?
Yep.
And also, we're going to put the transmission up there, but take a look and see what you got for dowels. Make sure you got 2 dowels.
Yep. Make sure
Okay.
we're not stuck in the transmission side.
Right.
Yes.
Or either way, if there's 2 in the transmission, you don't want any there, right?
Yep.
So, but you gotta have 2 dowels, all right?
2 dowels.
It's got the D-shaped hole on the flex plate. I marked it. That's the bolt that you can go ahead and draw the torque converter up to it, tighten it all the way down, and then just do your other 2 bolts and everything's good. That way you don't have to make a pass around.
Yep, save you some time.
Yeah, but not all engines are like that, so don't count on that for other ones, because that's the only one I know that does that.
Yeah.
Right? It was a lot harder than what it had to be. Alright, so now I got it on a jack so I can tilt it back towards us a little bit. Alright?
Okay. You're not going to do it with the dipstick in there?
Nope. Nope. Fights ya. So I'm just going to leave the dipstick up there for a while.
Okay.
My flex plate, it's torqued down. I took my torque converter and I lined it up pretty close to where that is, so I don't have to mess around with finding a bolt hole, you know?
Oh, yeah. Eyeball it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Gotta change my angle a little bit. Okay, got 1 bolt started.
There you go, it's all done. Good luck. Technically, it is together better than what the Blazer was. Like Jeff's 87 Blazer.
Yes. Absolutely.
Alright.
I'm gonna move my jack. Back here. Alright, my 3/8 is strong enough to do that.
Put some real corns to it.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm sure there is like an actual corn measurement for this, but
I wonder. Probably does have a torque spec.
oh, I'm sure. I think everything has a torque spec.
To tilt it down a ways, I can get all the way to the top. Yeah. Alright, so that's it.
Okay.
Alright, so I got it bolted together. I'm going to tighten these 2 yet. But before you go and think you're all done, you reach in and make sure you can turn your torque converter, okay?
Oh, yes.
And it moves, alright? So it's all the way in its pump. If it was pressed up against the flex plate, you couldn't move it then, and you'd know that you'd have to take it back out and get that torque converter back in and try it again, okay?
Okay.
Because otherwise you'll ruin the pump.
Yep, and that's a real bummer.
Okay. So, it's bolted in.
Yay.
Alright, so this is where the Crossmember comes in, alright?
Okay.
And most times we have gotten very lucky and it actually goes back to the other bolt hole back here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it actually hits a bolt right there.
Sweet.
Put a nut on it just to hold it for now. Okay. And then it sits on top of this one, and then you've got an elongated bolt that goes through your mount there, so it moves a little bit. All right. Okay. So there it is. Okay.
Okay.
With the stock Crossmember and with the stock motor mount, it is sitting in there perfectly. Okay.
Okay.
We'll check it. We'll check our angle here in a second.
Yep.
But doing it with that stock Crossmember, it just makes it so much easier, I think.
Yeah, and it is an easy Crossmember to work with. Like you said, it sits on top of the frame, so
Right.
you can one-hand it pretty easy.
Yep. And it's free.
Yes, free is the best.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so now I'm gonna measure how far back my arm went, and then I'm gonna have to drill some new holes for it. Okay.
Okay.
You just don't want it in there crooked.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and you can almost eyeball it. I take the pressure off of it. See, but
You said but.
all right. So I made my original mark of where it was. Okay. So I'm gonna come back. I measure how far it's moved. It's moved 3 3/4 of an inch. Okay.
Okay.
So I come back to this one. It says 3 1/4 right there. All right.
Okay.
So that's not good. So we would have to, we can't move that any further back, so we're gonna have to move this one a little bit that way,
Okay.
okay? To even it out. So the way we're gonna do it, we'll just put a jack underneath here to hold it, and then we'll move it into its place, and then get everything lined up, drill some new holes, and then we're good, okay?
Sweet.
So it's like a 1/2 inch difference, right?
Yep.
I don't really have to hold that tape measure in my hand the whole time.
Don't think so?
Now, just start moving it back a little. Measure again. That's 3 1/4. Okay. And what do we have on the other side?
3 1/4.
Ooh, 3 1/4. Good. And we're in the center of that elongated hole. All right.
Perfect.
So all right. So at that point, then I bring it up to where it's touching the frame there. Okay. Let it go in. I'm gonna hold it tight to the frame, okay? Because it's supposed to be bolted to it. By doing that, it's going to get the center line of the engine and transmission there. Because if I had just drilled this bolt holes where they were without pulling it up against the frame, then it would have been shifted over to the left a little bit.
Makes sense.
Okay, so now I need to drill 2 holes right here, okay?
Okay.
These are 7/16 bolts, grade 8.
Yep.
You would not want to use junky bolts,
No.
would you? Good. So 1 bolt's going to hold it for a second.
Is there squirrels? Juice, is there squirrels? Oh, goodness.
So I'm gonna tighten it down to the transmission mount. Looks brand new after I cleaned it.
No, you did a great job cleaning that. You sure did.
Okay, so I'll also go back, since I wasn't able to use the holes that were there, and I can't really reach in there with a drill. I'll come in here and I'll drop it down and I'll go a couple bolt holes in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
And I don't worry about the bottom ones there. I put 2 more in there, and that's always been good.
Yep.
We gotta drill this one out so I can drill it or bolt it down on this side, all right?
Okay.
So, okay, so the center, the bolt right there. All right, it's the same as that one. So, somewhere in there. And okay. And that one, I'm just gonna use that hole. Okay. I'll have to drill it, but it'll still go through there.
Sweet.
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
All right. So that's it. The cross member's in, except for those 2 holes that I got to do. Okay.
Yep.
I'll do those later instead of boring people to death with my drilling capabilities.
Yeah.
Okay, but by using this member, the way we did it, we know now that this transmission is sitting in its center, and the engine's centered that way, okay?
Okay.
Because we use the stock mounts and everything, so we're not going to have any problems there. You can see right here, I can't get my knuckle between the bottom of the cab and then the top of this transmission, okay? So there's no room for that transmission to go up any higher, okay? And even it's even tighter up here where there's one of the ribs on the transmission.
Oh, yeah.
But I can only get about, a tip of my finger through it. So that's all the clearance there is, okay?
Okay.
So basically there is no more clearance.
Yep.
So if you were to use a mount that raised that engine up, then no matter what, it's going to raise that transmission up a little bit too. But in order to make your drive shaft angle and your engine angle work perfectly, you cannot raise that transmission up anymore, okay?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So, but when we initially tore this truck apart, we took and we measured our angle here, okay? We took an angle gauge off our phone, okay? It's an app. We'll do it here in just a second, okay? And we set our phone up here and we measured the angle that it's sitting before we took it apart. And then it's on the exact same spot on the hoist, and it's on the exact same spot, okay?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do it, you wouldn't want to measure it and then take it over in your girlfriend's driveway and then measure it there when you're putting it back together.
Right.
You want to do it in the same spot.
Yeah.
Okay? So we know that the angle that it reads will be exactly the same.
Yep.
Okay? And we're pretty certain that we're going to have the exact same angle the way we did it, and we're going to measure our drive shaft then. Okay?
Yep.
So, all right. I always get accused of not using technology, but today I'm using Emily's phone, okay? The phone number is...
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we put an app on it that has an angle gauge on it, okay?
Yep.
And so your crankshaft all the way through to the end of your transmission is a perfect straight line, hopefully. Okay?
Hopefully.
Unless it's a 4.3 with a broken crankshaft. So what I do is I put the pinion, or I take a yoke and I set a yoke in there and I hold it up to the yoke, okay? What's it reading?
6 on the dot.
Okay. So I did that on the engine that we took out and it was right around 6 degrees.
Ooh.
Okay? I just do that all the time. I don't trust like the pan or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I did try it on the pan and it's pointed downhill 3 degrees, which is pretty normal for what a drive shaft does in these things. Okay? So we know that our engine angle is right on the money that way, okay?
Yep.
So in the event that this thing has some kind of a weird shake or anything like that, we know that it's not that, okay?
Yeah.
Then we would have to start looking at the drive shaft, okay? So there you go. That's all we need your phone for. Right?
You look like you're afraid of it.
I am afraid of it a little bit. I've never gotten to touch that. Is that your burner phone? How many boyfriends are on that thing?
No.
Okay. We gotta make sure we've got a drive shaft that works in this thing. Okay?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yep. Alright, so the slip yoke. This slip yoke, you might notice it's longer, okay?
Yes.
And if you were to buy a newer slip yoke for like the 2005 Chevy truck that this thing came out of, they are longer, okay? People do use the original ones. For some reason or another, these tend to leak less and vibrate less, in my opinion, okay?
The longer ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I don't know why, because the sleeve is, or the bushing is all the way out here, okay? So you would think that it wouldn't really matter, but it does. So if I have to replace or have a drive shaft built, I use the longer slip yoke.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But these will work, I know, but why not do it right when you're doing it, you know?
Yeah, especially if you got the whole donor vehicle, you know, you might as well.
Yeah, you got that part.
Keep it.
And they do make U-joints that are have different diameters to adapt to that different slip yoke, okay?
Yeah.
So if you're not good at figuring that stuff out at drive shaft shop, they always fix you up, okay? All right, so let's figure out if our drive shaft has to be shortened or lengthened, okay? And it'll slip in this thing already, so we're gonna go ahead and put it together. I gotta get a wrench.
I've seen some around here.
All right, and this is an 84 long bed, okay?
Yep.
The transmission that was in it was a 350 with a 9-inch tail housing. So they can all be different. Sometimes we do these and the drive shaft doesn't even come close But this one, it does come close. So we're gonna see what it does. Are the dogs in the office?
Ripley, come here. Where's your ball?
Ripley, come here. Lazy.
Come here and get your ball. Where'd it go? You go find it. Oh look, there's one. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's one. All the balls.
Okay.
No.
Doing okay?
I think so.
Did I put that transmission in all right?
Yeah. Hasn't fallen out yet. So that's nice.
Oh, it's so nice getting the transmission off the floor and off the jack, clear up some space. All right, so that's not permanent. I don't need to torque that down just yet. But you do want to make it tight, you know, so it's actually drawn against there.
Oh no.
I'll get my tape measure again. We'll measure this, okay? It's raised up in the air, which you don't measure it with it raised up in the air, okay? We're gonna drop it down and put it back down on the ground, and then we're gonna measure it. And once we get down there, we want to have 3/4 of an inch of that slip yoke still exposed before it goes into the tail housing.
Okay, 3/4 of an inch.
3/4 of an inch.
All right.
And if you've got one of those transmissions that's got the big other dust shield on the thing, then you gotta account for that too. Forget about that dust shield, because then you'd have it sticking out too far. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't use one of those seals. We used the seal that came with the kit. You don't have to worry about that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now we'll show them how we go about dropping the truck on you.
On me?
On you.
No. Ben. Juice. Juice, you're gonna get squished.
Okay, you gotta get on. Go. Go.
Come here.
Alright, I'll let you know when the hoist is not touching the truck, you know. Alright. Jump up and down on the back end a little bit. Okay. So, it actually increased. It's 1 7/8 right there. Okay? So, not what we wanted.
Yeah.
Will you hand me that other slip yoke? So, even the other slip yoke, it's over 1 inch, okay? So, we're gonna have to have a drive shaft made.
Oh no.
Yeah. Alrighty, raise me up. Alright, so unfortunately this drive shaft is too short, and I'm going to have to figure out something else for it, okay?
Wah, wah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's only 1 3/4 inches, okay? It's only 1 inch out, right?
Yeah.
It will not, it will vibrate,
Yeah.
okay? And I can't live with that because it's somebody else's vehicle, but somebody's gonna say, why can't you just live with it like that? and it's just not an option for me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to have a drive shaft made for it. Unfortunately, you can't have them lengthened.
Yeah.
That'd be
Stretched.
cool. I had to figure that out. How to lengthen one. But
we gotta come along.
I'll show you how we go about making sure we get the right length one now. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I gotta remove this shaft. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna end up having to
Mess with my lights again.
do your light again. Good. All right, so you got your light out there. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take one of the cups off. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna measure your slip yoke, okay?
Okay.
Now, slip yokes on the end, they can be different. The amount of length between the center of the pin
Yeah.
and here, okay? So if you're gonna have one built, you wanna know exactly what slip yoke you're using,
Yeah.
because if you just tell them the length for the drive shaft, then if your slip yoke's not perfect, then you'll be off there, okay?
Yeah.
So I always make sure that I just buy my new slip yoke or have the one that I'm going to use, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in. There you go. And I'm going to mark it to where 3/4 of an inch is exposed, okay? So you got 3/4 of an inch there, which is about the width of my finger actually. That's kind of how I've gotten to where I judge them like that. All right, so 3/4 of an inch, and with it being parallel, okay? Not parallel, horizontal, and then the one on the back, I make it horizontal also, okay? So you don't want to be measuring the twist. So then I'm going to measure from the center of that cup, and it takes somebody else to help you, you know, to the center of the cup back here, okay?
Okay.
Just like as an example, this one's 70.5, okay? So hypothetically, let's just say that we're doing this on the ground, okay? Or on a hoist where all four wheels, the weight of the vehicle is on the ground,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's when you take your measurement, not when it's up in the air like this. And then, like I said, from center of the cup to the center of your rear cup, okay? So this one's like right around 70 or so, but it doesn't matter because it's up in the air, but that's how you do it, but you gotta do it on the ground.
Yes. On the ground, center of the cup, center of the cup.
Yes.
Know your yoke.
Yeah. All right, so that's all I can do. I still have to put the torque converter bolts in.
Oh yeah, somebody will yell at you for that.
Yeah, so I got to put the torque converter bolts in, and then I can call the transmission installed, okay?
Yay.
And I'll put a little bit of blue Loctite on all three of them. I'll start with that first one, go ahead and tighten it down,
Yep.
crank the engine over, and hit, you know, the other two, okay?
Yep. Just
Make
have
sure
to
all three of them are tight.
turn it once.
Yeah. The other thing, 4L60Es, I forgot to mention it. In 2009, they changed them. They don't have the Perngle. PRNDL switch, Perngle we like to call them. They don't have them on the side. They have them internally. Okay.
Yes.
So in 2009, they changed to that. I don't know if they did it on all of them, and I'm not sure how long they kept making the 4L60. And if you're buying a donor motor that's got anything 2009 on up, it poses a really big problem. We had a truck here this year that we had to have it tuned. Because of that, the transmission wouldn't shift. We finally figured out what the deal was. It was a 2007 tune.
Yep.
2009 transmission. Didn't work, okay?
Yep.
So try to keep, if you're doing a 2008, 2007 or whatever, don't have a 2009 or newer transmission.
Yeah.
It'll save you a lot of trouble. Okay?
Yeah. Big headache.
Yep, and it's also missing, I think, the 2.3 solenoid inside of it, so it went through a big change.
Yeah, I think the temp sensor too is.
Oh yeah, and it has a temperature, internal temperature sensor.
Yeah.
That's right. So just a little bit of advice on that. Oh, and then also on those, that truck also, we had that thing that we were fortunate that our neighbor is a tuner and he came over and fixed that problem for us. The truck left, the guy who owned the truck, he had never driven the truck before. It was his first time driving it after he picked it up here, and he drove it home. And by the time he got home, his check engine light was on. And he had he had multiple misfires.
Yeah.
Okay?
Random multiple.
And why did he have multiple misfires? I called the tuner guy that just tuned it, and he said it's because he has a stall converter in it.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's going to be here in a few weeks to remove that stall converter that's in it. And they're all stall converters, but this is a stock low stall converter. He put in a 2000 RPM stall converter. The computer doesn't want to see the engine doing that up to 2000 RPM without a load on it. Random multiple misfires, okay?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of problems that you'll run into when you change something. Then you're going to be locked into having to have a tuner work on that and fix all those little bugs.
Yeah.
Which is why we do stock stuff, okay?
Yep. Save some headache.
Yep. But this shows you exactly where this engine and transmission is going to end up sitting, okay? And then we also get questions about the oil pan. Then this is the stock oil pan, all right?
Okay.
And this is your Crossmember, and figure a tape measure is what, 3/4 or an inch?
Inch, I think.
Right? Okay. So your oil pan is about 3/4 of an inch below your Crossmember. Okay?
Okay.
And if you don't like that, if you're going to lower your truck or whatever, get yourself a Holley low profile oil pan, all right?
Okay.
But if you can live with that, live with that. There's no reason whatsoever to raise your engine up
No.
and cause those problems. And we have another one coming in very shortly that has all those problems, and it started off with the engine sitting in the wrong spot, and we are going to have to fix all those problems. And it's a bunch of problems because where the engine sits is probably the most important part, okay? Once you get it set in there, because now I'm going to have to fix the guy's exhaust because I'm going to move the engine back 2 inches, and
yeah.
hopefully his drive shaft's going to fit. I'll have to redo his shift linkage. I'll have to redo his air conditioning.
Oh, I didn't even think about the AC.
Yep. So it causes big problems. So get this thing sitting in its right spot the first time.
Yes.
And don't for a second think that you're gonna move anything around and reuse your drive shaft for some reason, because you're just creating problems for yourself if you think you're gonna do that.
Yeah. The price of a custom link drive shaft is.
It's a lot cheaper to do that and a lot less headache to have a drive shaft built than trying to fix all the other problems that it causes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Do you want me to talk some more?
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Cross members, drive shafts, transmission stuff is something that you guys have asked about a lot. It's something that I've seen discussed in those Facebook LS swap groups. So hopefully this gives you some more information on that. I also see you guys give us shout outs in those groups a lot, and we really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who has hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you next time.